Gordon, frigid temperatures did not freeze out New Year's celebrations across the country. Millions took to the streets in the U.S. and around the world to celebrate the end of 2014. The year sadly ended in China with a New Year's Eve tragedy. But for most people, it was a chance to ring out the old and look forward to 2015. From 7 tons of fireworks illuminating the sky over Sydney Harbor, to striking the bell 108 times in South Korea, to the classic crystal ball dropping before more than 1 million people in New York's Times Square. One after the other, iconic cities around the globe welcome 2015 with celebration.
We pause, we think about the things in life that are good, the people we love, the bright lights in our lives, and then say, you know, maybe next year we'll do a little bit better.
New York City's finest were also on high alert to keep the peace in the face of recent protest. It was also a rough end to 2014 in some parts of the country weather-wise. In Southern California, deadly winds and choppy water tossed boats onto Catalina Island. And in the mountains, drivers were caught off guard by icy conditions. Some slid off the roads, while others were trapped in their cars.
There's nowhere we can actually go right now, so we're kind of stuck. That's why we got the trucks here parked.
And beyond the bad weather in the States, New Year's celebrations did bring tragedy in another part of the world, as the massive crowd gathered in downtown Shanghai to watch fireworks. A stampede erupted. In the chaos, 35 people were killed and more than 40 were injured. In the Middle East, the Palestinians are trying to join the International Criminal Court so they can bring charges of war against Israel. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas made the move a day after the UN Security Council voted down a resolution on establishing a Palestinian state. The U.S. and Israel have criticized the Palestinian move to join the International Criminal Court, and it could backfire on them because they could be accused of war crimes themselves over the rocket attacks by Hamas against Israelis and other violence against Jewish targets. The U.S. and Israel have both criticized the Palestinian move. Illegal immigrants have been a major topic in the new year and the year before, with the president's executive action on the issue and after the flood of immigrants poured across the southern border last year. The reason often given then for the thousands of immigrants coming into the U.S. was poverty and crime in Latin America. But as Chuck Holton reports, others have had different reasons for coming to the U.S.
Panama has the highest per capita income of any country in Central America. It's also the farthest from the U.S. southern border. But people from here are heading to the United States as well. Only it isn't the kind of people you might think. Sarah is a well-educated business owner here in Panama. She asked that we not show her face.
I have 2 businesses. I have the bar, a bar, and the internet cafe.
The businesses are profitable. But when Sarah became pregnant with her first child, her friends told her she should go to the U.S. to have her baby.
My friend told me that we could go to United States to have our babies so they could have the United States citizenship.
Her friend wasn't suggesting they enter illegally. Both of them were able to show sufficient income to get a tourist visa. That meant they would be able to fly right to California, where they could then wait to give birth. Her friend had done it once before.
She was really afraid because her belly was a little big, but they didn't ask anything and they allowed her to enter like normal tourists.
As a bonus, her friend was able to have her baby at a hospital in Los Angeles and pay nothing for the birth. The bill was picked up by U.S. taxpayers.
She didn't pay anything. She only paid the stay, the rent in the house that she was staying, and the food, and that's the only thing that she paid.
And this isn't an isolated case. Some Southern California hospitals report that 99% of new mothers they serve are illegal immigrants. What's more, some American hospitals are advertising their maternity services in Latin America.
Yeah, it's very common. I know like 5 or 6 people that go there and already have their babies there, and they're planning to have more babies there.
Ultimately, Sarah decided to stay here in Panama and have her baby because she was afraid she'd be too lonely spending several months in the U.S. But almost 340,000 women every year come to the United States to give birth. And that's a big problem because when they hit 21, they can bring their families up with them.
My friends wanted their babies to be Americans because it's going to be easier for them to get a job, to go to college, and to enter to the country later when they grow up.
From Panama, I'm Chuck Holton for CBN News.
A play based on the C.S. Lewis story, The Great Divorce, is coming to theater stages across the country. As Paul Strand reports, it's a story dealing with the nature of God and how people make their own choice to go to either hell or heaven.
Who are you? The one who was sent for you.
An eternity in heaven or spend the remainder of existence in hell? What would you choose? It seems like a preposterous question, but it's exactly the topic Christian author C.S. Lewis tackled in his theological fantasy, The Great Divorce. Now the classic literary work is coming to the stage thanks to Christian production company Fellowship for Performing Arts.
Why on earth these people insist on going there, I can't imagine. They won't like it.
The plot is based on the title, The Divorce Between Heaven and Hell. And so what Lewis imagines is he finds some lost souls in a place called the Gray Town, which is a metaphor for hell. And they're invited to get on a magical bus. And this bus takes this motley crew to the outskirts of heaven.
Through the fantastical journey to heaven, Lewis attempts to explain the simple yet difficult decisions that separate mankind from an eternity with God.
They have the choice to either go back on the bus and go back to where they came from, or they can stay and go up the mountain. But as they say, there'll be plenty of work, because there are choices that they've made in their life that the result of those choices brought them to the great town in the first place.
Producer Max McLean says bringing such a vivid and beloved novel to life took a great deal of care.
Well, we've got some of the best theatrical minds in the country developed that worked together for months putting this piece together. We use an extraordinary projection design, set design, costume design, the sound design, as well as these magnificent words that Lewis paints. You know, we're very, very careful to make sure that Lewis's vision is clearly articulated.
Then you can tell me. At least you won't deceive me. The ghosts. Do any of us stay? Can we stay? Is there really a way out of hell into heaven?
But McLean says it's more than a beautiful reinterpretation of a classic work. Instead, he says The Great Divorce delivers a poignant message for believers.
The Great Divorce is about spiritual warfare from a heavenly point of view. That's about exhorting us, encouraging us to go up the mountain. Don't just follow the stream and go downstream. Anybody can do that. Dead things go downstream. It's alive things that have to fight against the current.
The Great Divorce continues its 12-city tour through May 2nd. Paul Strand, CBN News, Washington.
And to find out where the play will be touring, you can go to our website, cbnnews.com. Government officials in Hangzhou, China removed a Christian cross from atop a nursing home just days before Christmas. Reuters reports it's part of a wider crackdown on Christianity in Xinjiang province in eastern China. More than 400 churches in that province have been ordered to remove the crosses or see them destroyed. Some members of the government of Morocco are angry that the country's movie commission has banned the film Exodus: Gods and Kings. The movie was banned because of possibly portraying God in an encounter with Moses. But socialists in the government coalition blasted the ban, and Moroccan filmmakers called it ridiculous. Remember, you can always get the latest from CBN News by going to our website, cbnnews.com.